So we'll try to cover what we missed out on last class yesterday. Uh, we left out on filtering with a condition, right? So I was saying you can actually filter using dates. So while trying to filter, I hope you guys can hear me, Sha. This one I'm just saying. I don't know whether we don't have time today. That's why I'm in a haste to continue. Can you guys hear me? All right. Uh-huh. So I was trying to filter with dates and I found out that I couldn't do that. Let me add a filter because it wasn't recognizing this column as a date column. I still had issues with this particular column. So one of the way that means I've yeah, Mississippi, any issue? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Kept messing up with it, but you're able to fix it now. Okay. So let's see. Let's. What happened was it seems I didn't save it when I did this step last time, so that's why I couldn't filter the dates. So I'm going to do it all over again. Um, is YMD we're using, bar? Is it year, month, day? Yeah, go on. Okay, okay. Which one exactly? Are you talking about the date as well, or what are you talking about the date? Okay, that what happened? Yeah, what happened? What happened with the Unisode? Okay, that means that particular column is recognized as a text column. You can fix that by just what is it? Picking the column and changing the type here under this number. But I was thinking, let me see. Or is it the same problem you guys were seeing yesterday? Because I'm getting the numbers here. I'm getting number filters here, even though mine is in general. So I can still see number filters. I hope you can share. You can see it on my screen. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you change it. Let's see if I was thinking maybe because of this missing and the rest, it might not work. But let's pick accounting and see. Yeah, it works. Probably change it to accounting or something else. Maybe it will work. Did it work? All right, no problem. So I was saying, okay, then maybe you fix the issue with the date. You might also have the same issue. It's because if you switch on filter, you would find that dates, if you are trying to filter dates, it has text filters there. What we want to see is date filter so that it will recognize date as a data type. So we want to see date filter there, right? So okay, your problem, I just recalled, do you still have that green triangle at the edge in your unit code? That's the issue. You have to fix that first. I was trying to show you yesterday how to fix that. let's go to the unit sold. It's like this, but you have that this particular green triangle at the edge there. Is that how it is? Look at my what I have on the screen. I don't know. Am I sharing this particular screen? Okay. So you hold on. Choose the first one. Are you there? You should be on the first cell. Hold on Shift and Control and arrow down key until it takes you to the very last, the 300 date. I think is it 300? Yeah, entry. Just keep going now. It will take you to the 300 entry. Or Shift Control arrow key down. You hold Shift and Control, then the arrow key down. You keep pressing it. It takes you to the last entry. Is it working? So this is the easiest way. Yeah, until it takes you to 300. I messed mine up, but no problem. So once it takes you there, there should be this triangle, sorry, this symbol by the side, quotient symbol by the side. Can you see it there? While it's highlighted, just click on it. You've clicked on it, go. Convert to number. Convert to number. That that's all. It should work now. So the date, let's continue the date. Once we pick the date column, you should do this as well. You go to data, and after the sort and filter, there is data tools. You see text to columns. You click on it, and then next. You shouldn't have to do all this, but this is all part of the. I included this so that you learn how to clean some data. Maybe if you're the one that created this data, you might not come across these problems. But how do you fix it if you come across it? That's what we are trying to do. So once you click on text to column, you don't need to change anything. You just click on next. Delimiter is tab, right? No problem. Next. And then this is where you now change it to dates. You pick the one you want. I think ours is year, month, day. I'm not sure. Are you there? Oh, it's day, month, year. Okay. Uh-huh. So day, month, year. If you pick that, then finish. We have our date arranged now. So with that done, we can now filter date. We can now use date filters, right? So you can use this to filter things that you cannot directly do, right? So it can be, okay, you can say then between you, as you can see, it has changed now. It has recognized these particular entries as dates. It recognized that this is only 2024 entry, and then it has the days for each month inside the month, right? We didn't have this before. So now we have that. And date filters used to be text filters, but now it's date filters. So you can do a lot of things with this. Pick what you want to filter by, equals to maybe a particular date, before a particular date, after a particular date. Maybe you don't want to include January and February. It can be after February 28th, or between, or tomorrow, things like that. So for instance, if we pick between, so we can decide to have dates, let's say between a particular date. Let's say we are just trying to see entries in February, right? Please, if I'm going too fast, do call my attention. So we are trying to see entries in February. So it's going to be 1st February 2024. That is after or equal to the first one. The range, you are now giving the range here. 1st February 2024 to and then the last day of February, 29th February 2024. So now once I click on OK, I will now be seeing only the data of February, right? So I only have February here, even though it's scattered because it's not sorted by date. I only have February here. You can now decide to sort by date too if you want it like that. You can pick sort. Maybe I'm just doing it. Then we might decide to sort by date, oldest to newest, so that it can be arranged. As you can see, we now have the data of February. How many entries is it? Just 25 entries, 25 transactions in the month of February happened. Should I go over it or you understood what happened? We have to do it again. Okay, all right. So that's the first thing we left off yesterday. And then the next thing we have on our agenda today is, yeah, go on. But were you able to filter by dates? No problem. It's not right. Maybe it's because of the way it's set up, your dates settings is set up. You can fix that actually, but let's leave it up for now. I'll show you how to fix that. As long as you're able to filter by dates, don't worry. So this is the first thing I think we left off yesterday. The next thing is what's it called? Our VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP happens to be something you definitely, most definitely come across when you want to do anything that has to do with Excel. You will definitely come across VLOOKUP. But before we do that VLOOKUP, I was thinking, even though I said this is a beginner class, I know we skipped a lot of things because we wanted to focus on analytics only. But it's still important that we talk about this, right? Excel references and autofill. We've been using autofill, but I don't know whether you know how references work in Excel, but we are trying to see. I would explain nonetheless. So you've dragged a formula down a column, right, in Excel, and probably maybe there might be instances where you got it wrong or what happened. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So I'm trying to solve that now. So references are the single most misunderstood thing in Excel. That's why it's very important we do it now. But once you get reference, formulas will stop feeling like magic or something that they'll start feeling logical. Let's look at something. Just look at this. Let's say I have 10, right, in A1, 20 in A2, 30 in A3, 40 and 50, right? Now, in B1, I now typed is equal to, I'm using a new sheet in this particular workbook. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can see what's happening. In B1, I now typed is equal to A1, right, times 2. And I got 20 because I say this particular A1 times it with 2, it will give you 20. Now, if you drag from B1 to B5, you see that on its own, you see that what it did is it took every single record from the cells in A1 and multiplied it by 2. So let's look at how this is happening and why it's actually happening. Now, what does octofill actually do? Autofill doesn't copy the value of a formula. It's not copying the value of a formula. What it copies is the pattern of the formula, right? Autofill copies the pattern and then it will adjust the cell references based on direction, based on the direction you are going. So this only works because of something called relative reference. You're talking about, there will be a note on this. I haven't been sending you guys. I didn't send a note last week. So there will be a note on this if you need it. So there's what's called relative reference, right? So let's use this B D to explain. Let me use this to explain. So what is happening is in B1, you said is equal to A1 times 2. Okay, any issue? My screen, you can't see my screen? Hello guys, is my screen visible or is it my network? Hello? Let me change my line then. I don't trust Glow, but I'll have to use it then. Yeah. All right. Can you see my screen now? Do I have to share it again? Hello? My network is still bad. Oh. It's back now. Please, can you guys see my screen or do I have to share it again? Okay, my voice is even breaking. Okay, so yeah, you can see my screen. I had to change the network. I don't know why MTN is. Oh, is this Airtel or MTN? Changed it to Glow. Let's see how it works. So I don't know where I stopped, or maybe where you stopped being able to see my screen, but I was trying to explain how this works. Can you see the screen now? Okay. So I was saying you want to see what is happening behind the scene, right? So when you say B1 is equal to A1 times 2 and you drag down, what will now happen is what Excel will do is it will now say B2 should be equal to A2 times 2, right? B3 is equal to B3 is equal to A3 times 2. This is what's happening behind the scene. So Excel is literally saying the formula is always one column to the left, right? So same row, right? So it's using that the relationship is what is getting copied, not the cell, right? So it's not copying A1, it's copying the relationship between A1 and 2. So but we'll explain more. So let's look at what relative reference actually means. So relative reference changes automatically when you copy or drag a formula to a new location because Excel remembers the relationship between cells, not the exact address. Let's see. That's why we could drag this particular formula down here. And when you take a look at it, you would find that A1 is A1 times 2, while B2 is A2 times 2, B3 is A3 times 2, continuously like that. So basically that's how it happens. Now, I think let's see. I shared a note with you, a file with you guys. Okay, before we talk about that file, let's go back to this particular notebook and continue. Assuming you have this particular cell, let's delete this. Let's say A is item B is price, D is discount, C is discount, right? Now, item you have pen, book, bag, and price you have 50, 200, 15. You already know how relative reference works. 15. Okay, let's use quantity, not discount yet. Now, assuming the quantity is 3, 2, 1, and here let's type total, right? So in D2, now let's use a formula. Since this is item sold, you have the price and how many quantity were bought. If you are trying to see the total amount, all you need to do is what? Multiply the price by how many quantities. So since 3 were bought at 15 naira, 15 naira for each, that's 3 times 50. So basically you use formula since you don't want to be typing this out, because most of the times you have hundreds of rows, right? So you would work this out. You use a formula on this, B2 times C2. Now, relative reference is so good that once you just drag, it will give you the answer, right? It will give you the total for each and every one of this particular record. So it's 200 times 2 will give you 400, and look at the formula, B3 times C3, right? So it's simple, right? So for this particular what's it called, for record what that we used, what changed and what stayed the same? So row number changed, structure stayed the same. Row number will change, the columns are still the same, it's fetching from B and C, but the rows are changing. From B, it took B2 and C2, B3 and C3. So that's how relative reference works. Now, the issue is why I'm showing you guys this is because there's a problem with relative reference. Let's look at this. Let's assume in E, you now have, let's say we have discounts here, right? No, this will not work. I'm trying to show you how it will fail. Let's take this out. Let's put discounts here. And let's say we have 10% here. So we are trying to calculate the discount for each goods to see how it works, right? Let's say we say it's equal to B2 times F1, which is this particular 10%. 5, right? So we are trying to use a formula, since we know that if you are trying to calculate discount, let's assume each good is supposed to, each price, there should be a discount of 10%. Maybe you are running a promo or something, and then you are trying to calculate discount down your entries, your transactions. How would you do that? Now, if we drag this, look at what happened. You can you find that you are getting some errors. The reason is because even though it recognized that the first one you used F1 to calculate it, it kept going down, right? It kept going down, trying to see if it can get other numbers for the calculation down here. It doesn't know that you mean that all the discounts should be calculated using this 10%. So 50 times 10% will give you 5, 200 times 10%, you understand, 1,500 times 10%. This is what you want to keep going, to keep happening. It doesn't know that. The only way to be able to tell that is if you type 10% here, then 10% here, right, and 10% here. Then maybe when you say, when you do this, it will calculate the discount for you. It meaning it doesn't know that you are trying to tell it to keep using this cell to calculate the discount on the rest of the goods. So how do you fix this? It means relative reference is not going to work because it's using the cells relative to what you did in the first one you actually did yourself. So how do you fix this? You cannot use relative reference. You'd have to use uh, a way to lock a cell so that instead of changing the F1, it sticks to F1 and it's only changing the B cell. So what do you do to stop it from doing this? Because if you look at B3 is multiplying it by F2. That's not what we are trying to do. So you would have to use what's called absolute reference, which would lock cell. So an absolute reference is locked using dollar signs, right, before the column letter and or row number. So it does not change when you drag or copy. Now assuming, let's say in this particular cell, instead of using this formula that we said is equal to B2 times F1, let's say we now used absolute reference. We will be able to now lock the particular column and lock the particular cell, right? So that we would force the autofill to be referencing F1, only F1. Okay, I used to. We'll force autofill to be referencing only F1 and not changing the row. It should just stick to that particular F1 because that's what we want to use in our autofill. So now when you click on enter and you now drag it down, you see that it will keep using F1, it will not change it. So the first one is B2 times F1, the second one is B3 times F1, the fourth one is B4 times F1. This is absolute reference. Since what you want to use in your formula is in one cell, it's not changing. So you keep using only that cell. I know it might be, I don't know if you've done this before or it's a bit confusing. Let's go back. Any question at this point? Any question? You can try it out yourself. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope I'm not talking to myself, sha. All right. So you guys are following or I've left you behind. All right. So that's absolute reference and how you can use it in Excel. Now, there's actually a shortcut for this because you don't have to keep uh, doing it, keep typing dollar sign, assuming you're trying to do this, you can just stay right where you want your absolute reference and just click on F4, right? So it will keep cycling where exactly do you want it. If it's at the beginning, just click on F4 and then you find that it will give you the choices. What are you trying to lock? If you lock only F, it means only the F column. But if you lock both the F and the 1, it means you are locking that particular. So as you are typing it, instead of typing out dollar sign, you use F4 instead, and it will be able to cycle through the options you have. Because apart from absolute reference, we still have something else that is also important. There's what is called a mixed reference, right? Because a mixed reference logs only the column or only the row, not both. Let's look at an example. A typical example, one of the easiest example we can use is when you talk about multiplication table, assuming you want to use Excel to create a multiplication table, right? And you have the figures you need. Let's say you want to multiply by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for instance, right? And then what are the numbers you are multiplying by? You have 2, 3, 4, meaning you have the two multiplication table, 2 times multiplication, 2, 3, and 4, meaning I'm talking about 2 times 1, 2 times 2. No, let's not start like this. Let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be easier like this to explain multiplication table. Let's include the 1. Let's include 1 too. It has made this a, a percentage column. Let's see. Let me take it out. I don't know who sent it to do that. All right, so assuming here you want to be multiplying this particular, what you have in cell F1 by what you have in row in this particular column. A 1, 2, 3. So I'm saying 1 times 1 should be 1, 1 times 2 should be 2, 1 times 3 should be 3, right? 1 times 4 should be 4, 1 times 5 should be 5, right? 2 times 1, 2, like that continuously. But of course, you don't want to do it yourself. You would want Excel to use a formula to do that, right? How do you use a formula to do this? Now, in F2, assuming I type is equal to A2, right? A2 times B1. B, I'm not talking about A2, sorry. I thought I went back to the beginning. I want to say F2, right? Times B1. I keep referring to A and B, I don't know why. So we are looking at E2 times F1 so that we get 1 times 1, right? So you get, you'd have, so what am I locking here? Here I'm locking the column, right? While here I'm not locking, I'm only locking the row. I'm not locking the, what's it called? I'm not locking the column. I'm only locking the row. So this one, it will stick to the column, and while here, it will only stick to the row. It will not change from this particular row. While this one is allowed to change the row. That's what these dollar signs mean. So once I click on enter, you'd have 1 there. And once you drag it down, it will do the multiplications for you. Now, how can you use this to affect everything? You can just do like this, and then it will do the calculation. You keep dragging the autofill dot there, and it will do everything for you. You don't have to do it for every single row since you are using the same formula. So that's exactly how it works. It will lock it will lock G, it will lock the row G1, but it will not lock G, but it will keep using E in all these row columns. It will keep using E. So it's not important. I just want you to know that there is mixed references. It's not that important, but it's going to be important to what we are trying to do next in the VLOOKUP, especially if you've not done VLOOKUP before. You'll find this particular uh, topic important. Now, what is VLOOKUP? I'll send a note to this. If you don't, it's not part of our class. I'm just doing it as a prerequisite to what we have. So, what is VLOOKUP? We have, if you have that particular data set I sent, you can just open it so that we can take a look at it. We have this data that has employee details, right? You have the staff ID, staff name, and department code. Now, and then apart from that, we now have the department record as well, where you have the department code, the department name, and the manager. That's the department info. Now, this is one of the most important functions in Excel, right? VLOOKUP. It is the function that like I said, every analyst will use, every accountant, every data person uses it regularly. In fact, one of the first, when you go for maybe an interview and they are trying to see if your skills, like all those jobs that require Excel skills, there is no way they will not ask you to use VLOOKUP. It's not possible. So if you don't learn anything, even if you are not doing data analysis, at least you're expected to know how to use VLOOKUP. And if you've been using Excel before, I would assume that you already know how to use it. So, but before we see the formula, let's understand the problem that VLOOKUP normally solves, because many times the reason why people find it difficult to do is because they don't even understand the problem VLOOKUP is supposed to solve. Because once you understand the problem, the formula makes complete sense. If you look at this table we have here on the screen, we have a list of 7 staff members, right? Each staff member has a department code. It can be MKT, FIN, OPS, HR, or something, right? Now, if you look at the other sheets we have here, we have the department code, department name, and manager. This is the reference table. It tells me what each code means, right? And who is the manager of that particular department. Now, here is the problem. Say, for instance, your boss now tells you that I want a report showing each staff member's full department name, not the code, because he doesn't know what MKT means. So he wants to see marketing, because MKT is marketing, right? So without VLOOKUP, you would have to look at each staff member, right? You have to look at each staff member's code, find it in table 2. So you have to look at each staff member, okay, 001 is in MKT, right? So, and now you now have to manually type it here, department code, for instance. Let's give the label department code, right? Department name, sorry. You now have to type it manually here after you've checked what each so okay, Musa Abdullahi MKT. What is MKT? You now go to department. Okay, MKT is marketing and Isa is the manager. You now type it here. Now for these 7 records, it's already annoying. Now imagine that you have to do this for 500 staff. This is hours of work, and they guarantee there will be mistakes. So you cannot do this manually. You need a formula, and that formula that solves this easily is VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP solves this. So you have to give it one piece of information, which is the department code, and it goes into table 2, finds that code, and brings back whatever related information you are asking for, right? So you think of it like a shopping attendant. You ask it for paracetamol, the attendant goes to the shelf, finds it, and brings back the price, right? You gave one thing a name, you got back something related, a price, right? So VLOOKUP is like your attendant, right? It's your assistant when you are trying to find things in Excel. So now VLOOKUP has four parts. We are going to look at the parts. Let's do this. What are the parts it has? In VLOOKUP, it has, you have to have the formula first. Now, the first part it has is what are you looking for? That is the lookup value. What are you looking for is the first thing. That is lookup value, right? Then the next thing it has is table array, which is where should you look for this particular thing you are looking for, right? The third thing is which column do you want in what you are looking for? Which column are you looking for? What do you want to return, right? So, and then the last thing, which is column index number. And then the last thing is range of lookup. Is it exact or approximate match? Maybe when we see an example, you are going to understand what we are saying. So what are we looking for? We are looking for department code, right? So how do you do, where should you look for it? We are looking for it in table 2, this particular table 2 here, which is this particular all you have here in table 2, right? Which column do you want back? We want to see the department name in that particular column we've chosen. Is it exact or approximate match? We use false for exact match. So let's carry out what we are trying to see. So we are looking for MKT, right? So you choose the what you are looking for, and then you add a comma. You are looking for MKT. Where should you look? It's on this particular column. So you come here and you select the whole table, right? You select the whole table and then you add a comma again. Which column do you want back? We are trying to see the, what is it called? The department name. We want to see the department name. So you check what, based on index, what is the number of this column that you want back? Is number 2, right? So you click on 2, you put 2, and then you add a comma. It will now ask you, is it exact match you want or approximate match? So we are looking for exact match, so we put false and we close the parenthesis. So once you click on enter, it will take you back to your initial sheet that you started your VLOOKUP, and it will tell you what is in, what MKT means. Now with this, you can just drag and drop and you'd have what you are looking for. Why are we getting error in what's it called? MKT and then FIN and OPS? Why do you think we are getting error there? Anybody? Are you guys even following? Okay, where exactly? I don't want us to keep going without you understand what you are doing. Where exactly have you been lagging behind? When I started VLOOKUP, okay. So, Mr. Steven, what did you say? Okay, 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 okay. So, let's do it in the same. Okay, let's do it all over. Sorry, you said? No, actually, yeah, okay, you're with us, but that's not the reason. We'll see the reason. Let's do it all over again since we have people who are not following, uh, who we left behind, so that I brought the this what's it called? I brought our department reference here so that we can refer to it easily instead of going to another table. Then we'll later do it using the other table. So we're talking about VLOOKUP. I said it's equal to VLOOKUP, and then it will ask you for four information. What do you want to use as your search? Like, yeah, the keyword you want to search is just like going to Google. What do you want to search? We are searching for MKT, right? The department code. Okay, that's what lookup value means. The next thing it's asking for is table array. What is the table array? Meaning, where do you want to search it from? Meaning, what table do you want to search this particular entry you are looking for? It is this particular table we have here, the whole thing here. I brought it here so that we can just be seeing what we are doing in the same place. We'll take it back. And then that's what table array means, comma, column index. In that particular table you have, where is what you want to be, what you want to add here, what you want to show here, what you are looking for, where is it located, what is the index number of that column? So department code is index 1, department name is index 2. So what you'd have to add in column index is 2, and then it will ask you, is it an approximate? Because it doesn't always have to be exact match. Maybe you are looking for something that looks like what you are looking for, so it doesn't matter. Maybe it's name, right? So you can say, okay, even if it is not exact, just give me anything that is close to this, so you use true. Or if you are looking for exact match, you use false. So let's do it now all over. So VLOOKUP, what are we looking for? We are looking for MKT, right? Excuse me. Sorry, you are looking for yes, MKT. So you choose the cell ID. You are not going to type MKT, or you choose the cell. So, comma, where do you want to look for it? You now give it the range. So I, instead of typing out the range F1 to H whatever, I'll just copy it down. It will work the same way. So this is F1 to H5, right? So, comma, we have given it where to look for MKT. What do you want to be returned? We want to see MKT. What does it mean? What is the department name of of MKT? So what is the column index of department name? Is what? Based on this particular table is 2, right? So 2. Okay. So you have the table you are selecting, you are using as your array where you are looking for something. How many columns do you have? You have 3. You count the columns. Department code 1, department 2, department name 2, manager 3. So the exact, we are trying to see the department name of MKT. So what is the position of department name of that, what you are trying to return? It is in 1, 2, position 2, based on this particular table. That is the column index number. That's why I say 2. Okay, any question? No. It doesn't have to do with the column. Don't worry, that's why I brought it here. It doesn't care about where it's located. It just wants you to give it that range. What it's looking at is not the name of the column. You gave it a range. This is an array. That's why it's calling it an array. It's now looking at this array as rows and columns. Just that, okay, what particular column does it belong to? Is it the first column? It has 3 columns to it. It has 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. It has nothing to do with the column name. It just has 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what is the column index number in this particular case? Department code is index 1, department name is index 2. That's why you put 2. If you are looking for a manager, you put 3, because based on this particular array we've chosen, it is in column, it is the third column, so you put 3. But now we are looking for department name, you use 2. Is it still confusing? Okay, thank you. So once you've done that, it will now ask you, are you looking for approximate match or exact match? If it is true, it's approximate match, but we are looking for exact match. So we put false and we close it. So once you close it, you click on enter, you are done. It will tell you MKT means marketing, right? In the department name of where the record, MKT department name is marketing. Now you have that there. Let me show you the formula so that you can see it and see, maybe understand it better. Or if you have a question while trying it. If there's any question, ask, or if it's clear, let's keep going. C2, your search word is C2, is the first thing you put, and it happens to be, you choose the cell, not that you type the search word. Where it is, you choose it. F1 to H5 is the array where you are checking, where you are trying to check and return a particular value, the table array. Column index number, what you are trying to return, what is the index of the column? You count based on the table the array you've chosen. 1, 2. Exact or approximate match, exact false, approximate true. So that's all it is. And then enter will give you marketing. Now, using Excel's almighty autofill, I now dragged downwards, but it's showing me error. Up to this point, are you guys with me now? Mr. Steven, or are you still having network issues? All right. So I was saying, why are we getting an error here? What do you think is happening? Look at the formula. Go to the formula bar and you should see what's happening. The first one, the table reference, the table array is F1 to H5. The second one is F2 to H6. The third one is F3 to H7. So what do you think is happening? Yeah. Okay, no problem. Maybe when we solve it, it might fix it. So if you notice, it is changing the table array because when we use autofill, it is using relative reference. And meanwhile, our table has some fixed values since the marketing has to be either marketing, finance, OPS, or HR. While it is changing, it is going downwards, right? It keeps going down. So it goes to right here we have F4, H8, and it keeps going down. It's wrong. What we are trying to see is we are looking for MKT, FIN, OPS, or HR. So what you need to do is lock it. You have to lock the table array. You have to lock the cell reference so that it can be an absolute reference. So what I'm saying is you lock F and 1 and you lock H and 5 because obviously for our VLOOKUP, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same. So once you lock it, it will stick to this particular table. It will not be going down because it was going downwards before. After this one, when it gets to a point, it will try to look for a reference here, which is wrong. So it was going downwards. But when you lock it, it will not change the reference of the autofill because the pattern will stick to this. It will not change it. So this time when you drag it down, it will keep using those particular 4 records only. It will not change. It will be the way it is. So that's what's happening. It's because we did not lock this cell reference and it was using relative reference. Can you fix it now? Try fixing it to see if it works. Let me show the formula here. So that's what happens. Mr. Steven. Yeah, okay. So let's keep going. Any questions so far? So let's do it the way we had wanted to do it before, because normally you will not have what you are trying to do in the same sheet as your main sheet, right? It might be in a reference sheet, a separate reference sheet. So this time, let's do the same thing. VLOOKUP, we are looking for MKT, comma, but the table array is not in this particular sheet. So you go to the sheet it's located, and then you copy your table array. Same thing. Once you've copied it, don't click on anything, just click on F4 and it will lock it. If you look at the formula bar, it has locked the table array so that it will not be changing. So once it locks it, add comma, and then what is the table index? Yeah, yes, yeah, yes. Once if you select it back, just click on F4. That means your F4, probably hold on function and then click on F4. Maybe is it working? Okay, yes. Okay, if it doesn't work, type it manually. You can just type the dollar signs there, right? Because that's exactly what I did. You can just let's go back. Let's take this out so that you can see what's happening. Once I select the whole cell reference, you now click on F4, it will now lock it, comma. Then the next thing is, what are we trying to return is the department name, right? So 2 in there is still column 2, index number 2, and then we want exact match, right? You close the parentheses. Don't worry that it's not doing it in where you would expect, maybe in the other sheet. Don't worry about it. Once you are done, you close the parentheses. Once you click on enter, it will take you back there and you'd have marketing. So it doesn't have to be in the same sheet. It can be in a separate sheet altogether, and then you'll be able to do it. So once we drag down, we should have everything working nice. So this is VLOOKUP. Now imagine having hundreds of entries, right? And you're trying to do this. It's simple. In fact, thousands, because I recall while I was doing, there was this job I did. So all you need to do with just one formula, you'll be able to find a particular, you can't have every information in one particular sheet. So you'd have to reference other sheets and pull informations. Now, if you have multiple data, you cannot do it manually. You cannot be searching with your eyes. You can just copy the whole data and then do what you need to do. Okay, now this it works fine. So let's do, what about if we are trying to get the manager's name for each employee, right? We are trying to get the employee's manager. Ah, how do you even pronounce? Am I dyslexic? What's my problem with typing? So say you are trying to get the manager's name, manager, right? Because if you recall, in departments, we have the manager of each department. So it's the same thing you do. We have the department name. Now we are trying to look for manager. So it's going to be VLOOKUP, right? And we are still looking for MKT, right? And then comma, we are looking, what's the table array, the whole of this, right? F4 to lock it in place, comma. What's the index column this time? Since it's the third one, 1, 2, 3, you put 3, comma, false, right? Close it. and then you have the manager for each particular employee. Who is the manager of each staff? You have it there. The manager of marketing happens to be Musa, and Musa Abdullah is also in marketing. So that is VLOOKUP, right? The very basic way of using VLOOKUP. That's basically how you use it. So what are some of the problems you might come across when you're trying to do this? You can get NA like we got the other time. So NA basically means the value you are looking for doesn't exist in the reference table. So, and the most common cause is a spelling difference, right? But ours wasn't a spelling difference, was because of that reference we used. It was using relational reference. So you might have made a spelling mistake, or it's not from you, and NKT here was spelled in all caps, but maybe in department they used lowercase letter to spell it. So you are definitely going to get NA or something, right? Now, the second error you might come across is this particular ref error. It means your column number is larger than the number of columns in your range. So if your range has 3 columns and you type 4, Excel can't find column 4, right? So assuming we delete this and then we did this all over again. Let's not delete it. Let me delete this once. And then I used 4 here instead of 3. And you know we have only 3 columns. You are going to get a ref error. This is basically, that's what it means. It means your column number is larger than the number of columns in your range. That's what it means. So you made a mistake when choosing the column number, index number, the one you guys were asking about. So you'd have to go back and see, okay, you were used for, okay, manager is in column 3, so you go back and you fix it. So yeah. Now, apart from that, you can also face a maybe value error, something like this, right? It's usually a formatting problem in your data. If you look through it, you will be able to fix it, right? So now there's another possibility. Say for instance, there is a new employee, right? Let's call the employee Ada Manuel. Can I spell Emmanuel? Yeah, right. Let's say she's in PM, right? Project management, product management. So, and it so happens that it's a new department, right? And this department reference doesn't have PM. What would happen when you try to autofill to include Ada Emmanuel? Let's delete this. Let's do it all over. I know I can still drag from that particular place, but I want to do it all over. So what would happen? I was supposed to see. Now, you see it's showing NA, right? You can actually fix this so that it will not return an error. It will return a message you set, right? So that you will not be seeing NA, which is an error, and it will not be breaking your code. It's not your problem that PM is not there. It's from the people that gave you this record. So how do you fix this? How do you correct this? Because when you see NA, you'll be having issues, thinking that, okay, maybe you were the one that made a mistake, or is the reference wrong, but it might not be from you. So the way to fix this there's what is called error handling. We are going to do error handling in Python. But here there's a simple error handling you can do. The way you fix this is that you leave your VLOOKUP the way it is, but you are going to wrap the whole VLOOKUP inside another parenthesis because we want to use another formula now. So we will remove this equality sign because we are initiating a new formula here. So the formula is called if error. So it's for error handling. It's used for error handling. So you are saying if this particular VLOOKUP returns an NA error, this is what you want to happen. What do we want to happen? We want it to say, comma, we'll now give it what we want it to say. We want it to just say not, oh, I'm in all caps. Oosh. We want it to say not found, right? So it will say not found. That's all we want it to say. So now, once you come across a department code that you don't have in your department record, uh, shoot, what's happening? So once you come across a department code that is not available in your department record, it's going to say not found. Instead of giving you an error, it will say not found. So if error is a error handling formula that you use to return a message instead of error when your particular condition of the formula you have in it is not met. So you did not meet this VLOOKUP condition. So instead of giving me an error, just tell me that it wasn't found. What's this now? So should I show you the formula or you got it? Any question with this formula? Okay, okay. I was saying you use if error to prevent Excel from giving you error message unnecessarily. You want to control what it shows you. So if you have a formula you are using like the VLOOKUP formula, you can wrap the whole VLOOKUP formula inside the if error. Like this is what we used initially. VLOOKUP, blah, 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 blah. Everything is here, right? And then you add a comma and then you tell it what you want it to show. If VLOOKUP is not met, that's what if error means. Meaning, if VLOOKUP returns an error, just show me not found in that particular cell. So what will happen is it will check if you are missing, if department code is not, if the department code you're asking it is not available in that particular record, in your department reference, this department reference, you see we don't have PM, it will tell you not found. So that's what we did here, not found. So I hope it's clear. So that's how VLOOKUP works. But there is one big limitation of VLOOKUP. It has one limitation. So before I show you something else, let's talk about VLOOKUP's limitations but even till this day, it's used almost everywhere. This is what people like using VLOOKUP because it works fine, so they don't care about the limitation because there are other ways we can counter the limitation. So what's the limitation? VLOOKUP can only search the first column of your selected range. It searches left to right, never right to left. So in this our particular example, my reference table must always have department code must be in the first column, right? If I accidentally put department name first before department code, second, VLOOKUP breaks. It doesn't know how to search backwards. So meaning, since you are searching by department code and you want to see department name, if department name is actually in column A and the department code is in column B, VLOOKUP will not be able to see it, right? It will not be able to see it, will just break. It doesn't know how to search backwards. Instead of searching, it will only search forward, so it can only go from A, B, C this way. So what you are looking for has to be around after the search code, search keyword, right? So it's really frustrating in professional work, and it's exactly why Excel introduced something else called XLOOKUP, right?